Okay, David.
Before we ask you about the game, can you talk about Lyle Collins' suspension and also Michael Gallup's injury and what those two look like as far as time?
As far as LC, it's really something I can't speak on right now. I know the timing is, it's a bit awkward, but it's something I really can't talk about right now.
Michael Gallup before you.
Oh, sorry. And Michael Gallup is going to be a multiple-week injury. We're still working through the specifics of it, but he will not be available against the Chargers.
How do you replace LC? What's the mechanics with all that?
Well, I mean, just we're not there yet. So until things, until there's clarity. But we've been working, all those guys, the different combinations. Be good to get Zach back, but we have time. I mean, obviously playing on Thursday night gives us some time where the players are off, mandatory 3 days off. So we'll bring the players in on Monday. We'll spend the morning working on Tampa, and then we'll spend the afternoon working on the Chargers.
With Collins, was the situation you knew this could be coming? It didn't catch the organization off guard today, the announcement?
Nothing of surprise. It's just once again, it's just the timing of it. It's a bit awkward, but it's just something I can't speak on right now.
You'll discuss all the options in the line, especially when you're looking at a defined time frame of 5 weeks. Last week you mentioned Zach Martin's only a break in case of emergency. Since you actually have a defined time frame here, is that a little different than discussion than just working a guy in at that position week after week?
I'm not sure I follow. You talking about Zach as far as coming back and
Zach, as far as swinging out to a right tackle.
I mean, unfortunately, we got a lot of experience from last year moving people around. So, but we'd like to, keep moving forward with guys that have been working the right tackle. Obviously LC, Ty, and Terrence have taken the reps there. So, having 8 offensive linemen at different combinations. Frankly, coming out of the game, just coming out of the grading sessions. Connor McGovern played very well. So I mean, it's we're eyes wide open, but you have to be because things happen. So we want to be able to have as many accommodations as possible.
Can you talk a little bit about Nasecki and Steele, the sort of training camps they had for you and where they are relative as far as that competition?
Yeah, both Ty and Terrence have worked both left and right tackle. So, I feel very comfortable with playing with those guys. So, Ty's got a ton of experience, and Terrence was clearly one of our most improved first-year players going into the second year. And you look at all the experience he had last year. So. I feel good about those guys.
Is there an expectation that you'll get Brandon Knight back on Monday?
So, yeah. Well, not specifically, but yeah, we're still working through that, and just not to. I mean, I'm not trying to, just the COVID. Just as far as when they can come back on, and obviously where we are with the 52 and the 53. Michael Gallup's injury. Once we get the clarity on that. So, but I mean, he'll be back sooner than later.
And you can't really say a whole lot when it comes to Lyle Collins because of league rules, but when you describe it, the timing is awkward. What exactly do you mean?
It's just I can't really speak on it right now. I don't have all the facts, so I'm not going to talk on something that I'm not in a position to talk about, respectfully.
It's a little frustrating that you can't get that continuity that you want on that line, especially looking at what happened last year too.
Definitely. I mean, it's a challenge. I think that we all go through it. I've always pay attention to statistics and the analytics. I think it gives you some direction, and when you're trying to build a roster and how you're allocating snaps and so forth. I mean, really the health and continuity of your offensive line, if you look at it historically, equates to winning. So that's something you pay attention to. But in the same breath, I mean, injuries are part of the game. I mean, guys miss games, and I think if you look at the way we went about our roster development, trying to keep as many players as possible. I mean, this is why. I mean, it's going to take 75 plus players to be successful. So, and this is part of that process.
When losing Gallup for the next few weeks or so, how valuable is the versatility that CD and Amari has, the ability to move them around when you're adding a third, fourth wide receiver into a more enhanced role?
Well, it's really the flexibility of the whole group. I mean, I think it goes beyond CD and Amari. It really extends to Cedric. I mean, I think Cedric is as fine of a young receiver, that can play multiple positions. And in my past experience, that's the only way we ever operated, was every receiver had to play all 4 positions. Noah Brown's the same way, and that's the format of how we're training all of our receivers as they come into our program. So, and this is one of the reasons why you do it that way.
It was a loss, and you're disappointed that you lost, but there were some good things that you did. There was some optimism that pushing the champs the way you did. Is there any of the shine lost by losing the 2 guys, and Michael and LC here, off that?
Well, I think like anything, I mean, we're in this, we're in this to win, and I think, the sick call after every game is, that's really the first stop when you get in the morning. You're checking on the players, see how it's going, and see if there's anything else that came out of the post-game evaluation. It's a big, it's the reason why, I don't know, 40% of the questions in here are about player health, the injuries. I mean, it's a big part of the game. I mean, it's a big part of your planning, big part of your adjustment, and and I think it's why we all forecast and try to prepare for these situations. But I think they're 2 separate. I mean, the game was a heck of a game. I mean, we knew going in. I talked about it, throughout the training camp. We were excited to play in that type of game. I thought the atmosphere was awesome. I loved the way our players went out there and attacked. I mean, the conditioning challenge, I thought they hit the target there. Play style was exactly what I was looking for. So there's a lot of really good things. But at the end of the day, when I view the overall outcome of the game, I think it's more about capabilities versus victories. It's everything we do has to be about victory, and that's our focus. I think we knew what we were capable of doing. We fully went in there expected to win the football game, but I think we showed everybody what we're capable of. So the film sessions today took a little longer. I mean, there's a lot of plays to look at. There's things that we can learn from ourselves, and as long as we keep it about ourselves in focus, because you need to win those games. I mean, that's what the NFL is about. It's winning those close games. On an average, you're going to play 8 tight games that come down to the last series of the year. That's what the statistics tell you. We fully anticipate going into that game. And I mean, that was some of my last words to the team Thursday morning at the team meeting was, let's just get in there, start fast, let's handle the pace of the game, and I thought we did that. And let's get it in the late rounds, and this is going to come down to the end and win it in the end. And we just didn't get that part done. So, but it's a great experience. So we played a lot of players in that game. A lot of our young guys got the playoff atmosphere, opportunity, and it was great for them to feel that. And I'm confident we'll be better moving forward.
What did you tell the players after the game in the locker room?
I love their fight. I love the juice. I love the energy. It was fun. I mean, it was a fun ass game to play in. I mean, I loved everything about the sideline. Loved the warm ups. The whole thing. That's a stupid comment, but I loved everything about it. I mean, it's just I thought that our guys stuck to the game plan. They went for it. I thought the adjustments, the communications on the sideline was outstanding. I thought our energy and our play style was what we're looking for. I was real excited about the momentum swings in the game and how we responded to it, because that's what big time games are about. It's you got to battle through the adversity of it, and our guys handled that very well. We responded almost every time that they threw something at us. So and we were very, very comfortable and confident at the end of the game, and that's kind of where we are, and we just got to get over that next hurdle. We got to win those games. It's about victories over capabilities. That's the theme here, if you're wondering.
Zeke had several blitz pickups and stepped into gaps to open things up in the passing game. He sits in on offensive line meetings.
I apologize. I didn't catch the first part.
Zeke had several blitz
Zeke?
pickups.
Yeah, okay.
And stepped into gaps to open things up in the passing game. He sits in on offensive line meetings. What stood out about his pass blocking last week?
I thought Zeke had a solid game. He did all the heavy lifting. He had some really hard looks in the run game, but his pass protection and I thought he didn't get the touches that you probably would like to. I think there's some extension in the passing game where maybe there'd be more opportunities moving forward. But Zeke's a complete football player. I mean, I clearly understand the amount of success he had rushing the football early in his career, but he's a joy to work with. I love the way he goes about it. He's in great shape. He does all the little things. He has great understanding of the game. He's very instinctive, and so we just got to give him some more touches.
On the option pitch in the goal line there, is that what do you put? Was he late getting there? Did Jarwin have to make that block? Like what has to happen there?
Well, I think the execution clearly. I mean, if I don't know if you went back and watched the tape or you just commenting off it live. I mean, there's, we have a clean play there. We got to execute the second level blocking better, and and I think it surprised them a little bit because that should be a race to the pylon, and I thought it was a good play call, and we just didn't. Our execution wasn't what it needed to be.
Zeke's often described as a really great teammate by coaches and teammates alike. How does that come to light on the game where he's not getting a whole lot of touches, but he's doing those small things? He doesn't seem like he's a guy who's chirping on the sideline about demanding more, although obviously he'd welcome it. Like his temperament in a game like last night where it's not driven by his touching the football.
Michael, I'm not sure what the question is.
How does he respond as a teammate to not being the focal point of the offense from a touch standpoint?
I thought he played with the same energy from the start to finish, and I think the reality of it is I think he played 70 plays in a game, and because he wasn't carrying the ball, carrying the load, he was still fresh. I mean, he was the same. He played at the same energy level at the end of the game as he was early in the game, and I think with his run style, if you're up in 20, 25, 30 carry type games, it's that's a whole different type of physical load on him. So, I thought he was into it on the sidelines, and I didn't see him any different at the beginning than the end.
Is the red zone offense something that takes time on task early in the season to come together?
Well, I mean that's pretty general. I think it's just where we are. I mean, we had some opportunities down there that we didn't convert. I think that's why you see football teams spend so much time on the situations, third down and, obviously the pressure. And this is a hard time of year because of the unscouted looks, so that was clearly evident, particularly early in the game. Well, they brought it back some in the second half, too, the five-man defensive, front defense that they played against us. With the rookie, so that was something that new that our guys adjusted to very well. And red zone's about timing. That's where, if that's the one situation where the timing really has to be, really tight and precise. And I think we all understand it's you have less room down there and the tighter windows and all those things too. So, we need to be better than we were last night.
Kind of a stupid question. Follow up to that would be on the run game. I mean the power run game down in there.
Yeah.
Is that something you really need in the red zone? If you don't have that, it makes it more difficult.
Well, I mean, when you refer to power run game, you talking about scheme? Or you talking about personnel usage? I'm not sure.
Just
your question.
That you're in there. The box is overloaded.
Yeah.
You can run for 2 or 3 yards.
Run into a heavy box, regardless of personnel. Yeah, definitely. No, that's something I think that we have a very strong perimeter group that we feel that if you look at the production, whether you're calling an RPO in your language or the ability to run solution throw. We have all those different concepts, and then you can see. I think Kellen, we had 28 run calls, and I'm going to say 14 of them, the ball was distributed to the perimeter. So when they're overloading the box, and you have the chance to get the ball in the perimeter one-on-one, I think that's a good decision. So and I think our run solution and RPOs average 5+ per attempt. So I was pleased with with the production of it. But at the end of the day, you do, we know we want to run the ball. It's more. It's one game, but also they did some more. They committed 7 to the box and versus the 1 back formations, and so I thought Dak did a great job with the decision making, and we got the ball in the perimeter.
Coach, what are your thoughts on Micah's game?
Micah? Oh, I thought it was a good start for him. I think, he's beyond his years, but he's still a rookie. It's the first time you think about it. It's the first time he played in an NFL game, and also, the communication responsibility that he has to handle. That's a new experience. I don't care where you played or how much time you get in the preseason. So, but I thought he got off to a good start.
Is that how you anticipate the linebacker rotation going? The way the
Depends on the game. Yeah, I mean, game plans are really game plan specific.
How much was that like a learning experience for Micah? And also, you know what to do, but there's some things like the pass to Gronk, he's there and it's Gronk. He's got. How much is a lot of that stuff? Just you got to learn how to play that.
I think it's pro football. I mean, that's why they're all special athletes and good matchups. I mean, he had a couple. He also had one for Fournette that he had a chance to make a play. So, but yeah, I mean, he's got a very bright future. I'm very confident that he'll continue to grow. But I thought he looked comfortable. It wasn't. I like the way our young guys played. They made some mistakes. And that's part of it, and that's the. And I've done this a lot. I've done it throughout my whole head coaching career. We've always played young guys going all the way back to 2006, and it's you have to swallow hard sometimes because they get in spots and it may not be clean for them. They're a step slow, so you have some of that. But our young guys were into the game. It wasn't too big for anybody. Like I said, I love the way they went about it, and that's the first step.
How have you seen Leighton and Jalen handle such relatively limited snaps to what they're accustomed to seeing?
Well, I think they understand, I mean, if you just look at the big picture, we took 24 defensive players into the game, and, we had projections of how we wanted to play guys, and, we knew it was going to be a challenge with the climate and the humidity down there, and I think we really hit the target, as far as getting the distribution of playing all the guys on defense. So, personally, I mean, I can't speak on their behalf. If they weren't frustrated, I'd be disappointed. I mean, these guys have played a lot of football, and throughout their whole career. But it's our focus to be better as a whole as a defense, and frankly, the more players that you play, the better off you're going to be.
Y'all's final play of the game was pretty unique in terms of personnel. Can you just shed some light on the thought process there?
Well, I mean, I think it's it's like anything. It's where do you put the practice time? And I mean, it's something that actually John's had success with the bingo call in the past, and it's something that we haven't put a whole lot of time into offensively. So it was by design, and it's a play that I've done it different ways. Are you exposing your quarterback to a hit to throw a jump ball? I mean, it's too far back for the rebound pass. It's clearly a field position decision based on where the ball is. So I mean, we spent a lot of time on the last 2 plays of the game, and that was our selection for that particular play.
Was John Fossil orchestrating that play? It looked like he was the one. It might have been binoculars for failing.
Well, it's a special teams play, so the reason why I called a timeout was just make sure to review it. But it's a scripted play. We do it every Saturday. I mean, it's part of our Friday, Saturday end of game situations.
For the go-ahead kick, Zerline, what do you attribute some of those struggles to? Just because he missed so much time, or was it just okay?
I mean, no, I think it's like anything. I mean, that's why you have training camp. I'm not going to make excuses, and he'll be the first one not to. But it's a veteran operation. But I think they're only going to be better moving forward. And frankly, I think the 60-yarder was partly me showing the confidence that I have in him. So, and he's made those kicks throughout his career, and I'm confident he'll continue to make them moving forward.
Did you get a good answer as to why they didn't reset the play clock before the punt there? Or was that the issue, I guess, is probably what I was getting at.
Good answers? What's a good answer? My bad? So.
But you guys are assuming that you guys kept waiting for the play call for your
It was it was. I've never had that conversation before, so I learned something. I'll just put it that way. Learning experience.
Looked like you were on the winning kick. Looked like you were thinking about a timeout because you were looking at the ref, but there was obviously umpires next to you. So were you just decide the last minute forget it, or were you trying to do a timeout?
There's gamemanship involved there. So, boy, I appreciate the way you guys pay attention. But there's things that go on, and I know I was asked this last night too. There's things you're looking for, and I think like anything, we spend a lot of time on pre-snap mannerisms and indicators, and so that's part of the thinking on do you call the timeout and freeze and not freeze too. So I've also seen the freeze go the other way. You freeze a kicker and he misses it, and then he goes back. So I think how you freeze them too is part of it. But yeah, we had two options there, and the option we went with was there's a reason why we did it.
Were there any other injuries out of the game besides Gallup?
Yeah, Darian Thompson had a hamstring. He will miss some time. So.
Mike, on that last field goal, you looked like you guys got a lot of penetration. When you went back and looked at it, did you get close to blocking it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a solid effort. Yeah, I mean, it was, we said we thought we had something from an indicator, but, I think the range of the kick was, it would it's, it's favoring them, the angle of the kick and everything, yeah, so, but, yeah, I thought our guys gave a really good effort.
You've been around Dak a lot. I'm not going to use the word surprise, but how impressive was his performance last night, given the time he missed during training camp? And just, I mean, it seemed like one of his best throws may have been the interception in the tight window where it was deflected.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you take a step back and look at it from a perspective, maybe someone on the outside, you'd say, boy, that was an unbelievable performance. And I think it was a great performance. I think anytime you have two big-time quarterbacks, and obviously Tom Brady and what he's accomplished speaks for itself. But it's I'm sure it was a fun game to watch. It was a great game to compete, to be part of the competition. But that to me, that's Dak Prescott. I mean, that's the man that we work with every day. So I mean, yeah, I wasn't surprised at all the way he played. I mean, it's just he competes at everything. He was totally into the game plan going into it, and exercised it. So no, I was very happy. Frankly, I was happy for him personally just to see him back out there. But no, but that's the guy that we see each and every day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.